Hello, and welcome back to the Cracking FAANG YouTube channel. Today we're going to be solving Leetcode 863, all nodes distance k in a binary tree. Let's read the question prompt. Given the root of a binary tree, the value of a target node target and an integer k, return an array of the value of all nodes that have a distance k from the target node. You can return the answer in any order. For example, if we were given the tree seen here and we were told that the target was 5 and that k was a distance of 2, what are the nodes that are 2 away from 5? Well, we can see that starting from 5, a distance of 1 would be to 3, and then a distance of 2 would be to this 1 here. Or we could go to the 2 first and then the 4, which is the solution, or we could go to the 2 and then the 7, which is the solution. So that's how we get 7, 4, 1. And the order here doesn't matter, like they tell us in the problem. So how might we go about solving this problem? Because typically, binary trees are given to us as node objects that have a value and they have a left and a right pointer. So, finding 7 and 4 would be easy because we could, in theory, just traverse down into the tree. But how do we find these nodes, going up the tree? We obviously don't have a parent available to us. Now, if the interviewer lets us create a parent, then okay, it could be simple. But usually you can't modify these sort of data structures in an interview. You need to find some other solution. And the way that we want to do this is actually, we're going to be clever here, and we're going to transform our tree into a graph. And the reason that we're going to do it this way is because at any node, we can think of, the nodes that you can reach as it's like vertices. And we'll have access to that data. So that way, if we have, the vertices for every edge in our graph, then starting from whatever node we want to start with, our target, we can simply kick off a breadth first search from that point and then search to find, distance of 2. And we can simply cut our search once we've searched more than a distance of 2, basically 2 steps from 5. And we'll be able to do that using a BFS. And we know that that will give us the fastest solution, because again, we don't need to depth first search through this. We just need to reach all the possible nodes, and we only have to go to a distance of 2. So obviously we don't want to explore levels of depth 3. We just want to go to 2. So that's why we're going to use a BFS to catch the search early. So let me elaborate on that because it may be a bit confusing. What we want to do is we want to create a graph here, and we're going to use an adjacency list representation where the key is going to be a node. So we'll say, actually we'll start with the root. So we'll say, the root will be the key, so it'll be the node 3, and the value is going to be a list of all the nodes you can reach from 3. Obviously 3 doesn't have a parent, so we can't reach anything by going to the parent, but we have a left and a right subtree. So we'll say 5 and 1 can be reached from 3. 5 can reach what? 3, 6, and 2. And then, we can go on and on and on and basically fill out our tree. So I guess maybe like the last node here would be like this 8, and we can't reach anything there. Actually, there's no 0. It's just an empty list. So we can build this adjacency list representation for every single element in our tree. And we'll now have a graph that represents the tree. And what we can do is we can, look up the target, this 5. So starting from 5, let's explore all the nodes that it can, reach. So the 3, the 6, and the 2. And we're going to go explore those further until we've explored a total distance of 2, right? Exploring, 3, 6, and 2 would be the equivalent of taking 1 step, right? Because we would be taking, a step of 1 to get to the 3, a step of 1 to get to the 2, and a step of 1 to get to the 6. And then all the elements that 2 can reach within 1 step would give us our 2-step total. And then we should return, right, 7, 4, and then from here, the 3 can reach the 1. Now we need to be careful that we maintain a visited set to make sure that we don't go back to nodes that we've already seen, because that way we'll just get caught in an infinite cycle. For example, if we go from 5 to 3, well, in 3 we can see that we can go back to 5. So if we do that, we'll just go back to 5, and then 5 can go back to 3, and on and on and on. We'll get stuck in an infinite loop. So we're going to need like a visited set, and we'll call it V, to basically track where we've been so far to make sure we don't get caught in that infinite cycle. So to summarize, as I've kind of gone on for a little bit, the first thing that we want to do is represent our tree here as a graph, where each key will be, a node, and then the values will be the nodes that you can reach from that particular node. And then once we have that, we can kick off a breadth first search starting at our target node. In this case, it's going to be this 5 here. And then we can just go and keep track of the number of steps we've done. So going to 3 would be 1, obviously, and then going to the 1 here would be 2 steps, and then we cut it there because we're only allowed up to 2 steps. And we'll do the same thing for, going to 4 and 7. So that's the idea that we want to go, and this will give us a solution. So hopefully that's a little bit clearer. If not, once we go to the code editor and write it out, it should become much clearer and you'll be able to see exactly how we're going to solve it. So I'll see you in the editor. All right, we're back in the code editor and it's time to code up our solution. So let's handle a little bit of an edge case first. What happens when k equals 0? Well, remember that k represents the distance that we want to go from our target node. And if k equals 0, that means that we don't want to go anywhere and we should simply just return the target node, because that's the only node technically that is a distance 0 from itself, is, the node itself. So what we want to do, and be careful that the answer here is actually a list of the nodes, so we would just want to return, so we're going to say if not k, so basically if k is 0, we're going to say return just the target node. And remember, we're looking for the values of the values of the nodes, not the nodes themselves. So we want to return target.val. Otherwise, remember that we need to build a graph. So let's define a data structure to hold that. And we're going to use a dictionary where, remember, the key will be the node value, and the key will be the node, and the value is going to be the nodes that you can reach from that particular node. So what we're going to do is define that. So we're going to say graph is going to be collections.default dict list, and this basically just creates a dictionary where the default value will just be an empty list, so we can just append to that empty list. We don't have to bother checking whether or not a value exists. This is a Python specific thing. If you don't have it, just initialize an empty dictionary, and then if your key is not in there, just initialize it to a list and then append your value to that list. So getting back on track, remember that we need to basically process our tree to build out this graph, and to do that what we're going to use is a queue. We're just going to do a simple level order traversal of the tree to basically just parse out all of the nodes and then get which nodes you can access from the left and right subtree to add to our graph here. So we're going to need a queue data structure to do that level order traversal. So we're going to say collections.dec, and we're going to initialize it with a root because obviously we want to start our search there. And then what we want to do is simply say, okay, well, we need to process the tree. So we're going to say while queue, we're going to say the current node is going to be queue.popleft. And then what we need to do is, if the node has a left child, then we need to say, okay, from our current node, we can access node.left. So we need to add that to the adjacency graph, adjacency list within our graph. So we're going to say graph of node dot append node.left, which means that from the node we're able to access node.left, and we need to do the opposite. That way we have access to the parents in our graph. Right, so this 5 can access the 3 and the 3 can access the 5, so we need that bidirectional those two edges going from the parent to, I guess, its child, and we need it in two directions. So we're going to say graph of node.left dot append node, so basically we can access the parent from that node. And then now we just need to add the node.left to the queue for processing. So we're going to add queue.append node.left, and we're going to do the same thing with the right child. So we're going to say if the current node has a right child, then we want to add that into our graph. So we're going to say graph of node.append node.right, and we're going to say graph of node.right.append node. And we again need to add it to the queue for further processing. So queue.append node.right. And that's all we need to do to basically populate our graph. Now we actually need to process it and kick off our breadth first search, starting from the target node and going a distance k in all the possible directions until we have done that distance k, at which point we can just cut off our search and return whatever results we're going to have. So we need to define a result array, because obviously we need to return a list of node values here. So we're going to say res is going to be an empty list. And remember that we need a visited set to track where we've been, so we make sure we don't end up in infinite cycles. So we're going to say set, and we're going to initialize this with basically our target, because obviously we're starting there. So we're going to put, initialize visited with our target, and we also need to set off a breadth first search. So we're going to create another queue to basically do the processing, and this time we're going to initialize it with target, a tuple with the first element being the node and the second element being the actual steps that we've taken so far. And when this steps equals to k, then we want to append whatever node we're at to our result and then cut the search off there, because we don't need to go any further. Obviously, if we hit k, then we can't go to k plus 1 because we're only interested in nodes that are exactly k away. So that being said, let's now actually do the processing. So we're going to say while q, we're going to say the current node that we're at, and the distance is going to equal q.popleft. And now what we're going to do is we're going to say if the distance equals to k, that means that we found a node that is distance k away from our target. That means we want to add it to our result. So we're going to say res.append whatever the node.value is. And we can basically just stop there for this particular iteration. We don't want to go any further. We don't want to add more elements to our queue from this particular node. We just want to cut it off there. So we're not going to do anything more. Otherwise, if we aren't distance k away, then what we want to do is we want to say for edge in graph of node, we basically want to visit all of the points that we can visit from that point. And we want to make sure that we're not going to somewhere that we've already visited. So we're going to say if edge not in visited, we only want to visit places that we haven't been before, so we don't get caught in that infinite cycle. We're going to say visited.add the current edge to make sure that we're adding it to indicate that, hey, we're visiting this edge. We don't want to get caught in that cycle. And what we want to do is we want to say q.append that new node that we need to travel to, edge, and then distance plus 1, because now we're taking an extra step, and we need to increment that distance. Otherwise, we would just keep working with 0 and nothing would actually happen. So at this point, our BFS will run, and it's going to find all those nodes distance k and then stop there. The reason that we want to use breadth first search is, remember that in a breadth first search, you're going to fully explore a level k before you explore level k plus 1. So it makes sense why we use it. At the end, once our BFS loop here ends with the while q, then all we have to do is simply return our result, and we're actually done. So let us submit this. Hopefully we haven't made any bugs, because this is quite a lot of code. We're going to run this, and cool, it works. Awesome. So what is the time and space complexity for this algorithm? Well, what is the time complexity? Let's think about this. What we do first is building a graph. And to build that graph, we're going to basically go over the entirety of our tree and parse out every single node and create that adjacency list. So doing that is going to cost big O of n time, because we have to process the entirety of our input, and that's what we're going to do. All of this thing in here is going to be big O of 1 operations, so we don't have to worry about any sort of like nested things here. So it's just going to be big O of n. Then what we need to do is we need to go through our queue to actually process the graph and kick off the BFS, which in the worst case, if k is very large, we could end up processing a lot of levels, which could in theory be processing the entire tree. So for example, if our target was the root here, and k equal to whatever the deepest point was in the tree, then that's we'd have to potentially do all those iterations. And if our tree was actually very skewed, so you can think about it as just being like a straight line down from the root, then in that case we would have to go all the way down if that k was that last node. So we, in the worst case, would have to process the entire tree or the entire graph again to process it. So that's why it's big O of n, but asymptotically this is going to be 2n, but this is just big O of n. This little constant here does not matter. So time complexity, big O of n. What is the space complexity? Well, we have, a queue here and a graph to basically process all the nodes. Those are just going to be big O of n because we're just storing the same data that we have in root. So it is dependent on the size of root, which is big O of n. And then the same thing with the queue here. It's just going to be another big O of n operation, or allocation. So in this case, same with the time complexity, big O of 2n, but asymptotically, this is just big O of n. So that's your solution for this problem. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope everything made sense. If it did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If there's any videos you'd like me to make, please leave it in the comment section below. I'd be happy to make the videos for you guys. Just let me know what you want to see, and I'll be happy to do that. Otherwise, have a nice day and happy coding. Bye.